Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Just like we make a budget and then we review it, we go over our receipts and we decide how things are coming along for us. It's important to make a survival assessment of your prepping supplies and your prepping skills. You need to occasionally review your prepping plan, the gear that you have, the ideas that you've made, the plans, and see if those things are still working for you. Make an inventory of all your supplies and go through them and figure out which ones are you really using, which ones do you need more of, and which ones do you have too many, you're not using them up before they're expired. Those are things you need to adjust and adapt your plan so that you have the things that you need in the correct amount. Tastes change and needs evolve, so we need to make sure that we're updating our plans to meet the current needs of our situation. Ask yourself a few key questions. Are you rotating your supplies? Are they lasting as long as you had hoped? Or do you need to make an adjustment in the supplies that you have? Do you have some items that are becoming expired or you have just way too much? Maybe you need to donate some of those or find a way to use them more frequently so that your things stay up to date, current, and ready to use. Set stockpiling goals going forward for what you're using now and what you predict you'll need and use in the future. Those are the areas to work on going forward. You can adjust your shopping and stockpile list to the things that you're currently using and the things you expect to use in the future. Make a list of those items and a plan for how to collect those. You always want to be working on your stockpile of food and water. Then you want to make sure that you're rotating those foods and keeping that water fresh. Make sure you have a way to cook that food and practice cooking if you have no power, if you have no water. Do you have a camp stove, a supply of charcoal, a way to cook over a fire pit? Practice starting fires so that you know you'll be able to do those things. If you make it a challenge and an activity that you try occasionally, it's fun to learn to cook outdoors over a camping stove, and then it isn't going to be a hardship or a crisis if you need to. You can roll along with the events that are happening. It doesn't become a crisis when you don't know what to do. You already have planned and practiced, and it's time to implement it in a situation where it's really required. Along with your stored water, make sure that you have a water filter. Then get it out occasionally and practice using it. You don't want to wait until a crisis situation to find out you don't really remember how and you've lost the directions. Things that you store that you don't know how to use and don't know what you would use them for just become clutter and a burden in your life. Go through your supplies, review each item, and decide, is this still meeting the needs of what I expect I would want to use it for? Do I know how to use it, and am I confident that it'll meet the needs that I expect in an emergency situation? Challenge yourself to use the things that you have. Try out your camp stove, your lanterns, your flashlights. Try starting a fire, making a foil packet on your gas barbecue grill. Have emergency plans. Know how to give first aid. Study over your evacuation route. Have fire drills in your home. Go through your bug out bag and see, how can I use these items the best? Are there too many? Not enough? Is it too heavy? I can't carry it? Do I know what every single item in it is for? Make a home invasion plan. Know what you would do if someone did come into your home. Avoid a confrontation, but be prepared in case you need to defend yourself and your family. There are a lot of areas of prepping and survival that we don't use on an everyday basis, but they're things we still need to plan for going forward. The future is uncertain, but if you live long enough, you know hard times come to everyone. All lives come with challenge, but if we plan ahead the things that are most likely to happen to us in the areas that we live, and we think about what we would do in all kinds of different situations, then we're ready. We don't panic. We have the idea of what we can do, we have the supplies to use, and we know how to use those supplies to make sure that we can make the best of any situation. So take an assessment of your survival and prepping gear and supplies and make sure they're meeting your needs for today and going forward. Learn more at alaskagranny.com. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.